Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and jammers of all genders. I'm your host, PatchTheAlpha, and I'm joined here today by my illustrious co-host, Albert Rowe, 2016. Say hi.
Hello.
Welcome to the AJ TeaSpill podcast. Today we are joined here by a very special guest, long-time jammer, amazing artist, AJ Instagram influencer, great friend, and fairy. Say hi, Night.
Hi.
Today, our very special guest is Nightfury AJ. You might know her from Instagram or just from YouTube from recent videos, because you started uploading a lot more. So yeah, how are you today?
We're just gonna say fine for a short
Alright.
answer.
Oh my god, you stressed me out so much like 1 or 2 days ago.
Why? What happened?
Well, I asked you how you were because you messaged me saying you were sad, and I was like, what's going on? And you were like, I just went to see how to train your dragon free.
That was sad!
Oh, to be fair, I felt the same way after I saw that film, but I was just like, oh my god, what's going on?
No
I was
spoilers.
crying.
Yeah, no
so
spoilers
hard, man.
because Albert hasn't watched it yet, but yeah, it's a really nice film. It's really good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so, is there anything that I missed? Just introduce yourself, basically. What do you do? Just in AJ and non-AJ in general.
Oh, okay. Wait, what do you mean?
Like, what do you do on Instagram? What sort of AJ content do you
okay.
make?
I am a primarily an artist and also psychology enthusiast,
Mm.
I guess. Like, you know, in my videos
Yeah.
I talk about certain things that that are like happening in the Animal Jam community, and if possible I explain how it can affect your mental health and why it's important to pay attention to it, and you know, just other things that I feel like talking about. But I'm also, like I said, an artist. I specialize in anthropomorphism and Animal Jam art, so yeah.
Well, that's really good. And one thing, like, your videos really stand out to me, as you mentioned the psychology aspects, because they're kind of like, I want to say they're for more sophisticated people. I don't want to, like, you know, say anything in specific, but, like, they're really for... Yeah, they're for, like, what's your target demographic, do you reckon?
11 through 18, probably.
Yeah, because I do find that your videos are like really, I don't want to say educational, but like for really sophisticated. I don't know, but just like I feel like they're really good and really high quality, as in the sense of you know what you're saying.
Thank you.
Right, so you kind of introduced yourself in general, but what sort of stuff, because I met you through Instagram, right? A couple of years now it's been. What sort of stuff do you post on Instagram, just so like people know? I guess that's kind of the same question, but I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly just art, and I bet I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this.
No, it's alright. We need to talk about, you know, the thing.
I'm also a furry. So I'm a fursuit maker, and my business name is Dark as Night Creations. So yeah, that's kind of just what I post. Like, you know, primarily art and fursuit works. I guess I also occasionally post about what's going on in my life, but other than that, I try to mostly keep it professional and business related.
Yeah, so like for people that can't see, because I will not edit this whole podcast, it's just going to be like a still image in the background, but I'm going to have you linked in the bio thingy. So for those of you that check, you basically make these really, like, at first, I didn't know what, like, furries or fursuits were, but I looked, and you make these basically really detailed animal suits, fursuits, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's basically, because I was kind of trying to tell my friend Albert here what, like, a furry or fursuit is, and at first he was so confused. To be fair, I was as well, but yeah, they're really good. Yeah, go ahead if you want.
Okay, a furry is someone who is a fan of anthropomorphic animals, and anthropomorphic animals mean animals with human characteristics and personalities. So think Zootopia, The Lion King, Robin Hood, things like that. Those are all anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah.
And basically just a furry is a person who is a fan of those said animals. And you can be a fan of anthro animals and not be a furry. It's really all about
Yeah.
identification and how you choose to identify yourself,
Hmm.
and if you want to consider yourself a part of the furry fandom.
Hmm.
And almost every furry has a fursona, which is a furry persona or alter ego of
You have
themselves.
many of those,
I
right?
have yes, I do.
Mm.
But so a fursona is
Uh-huh.
your furry persona, which can be an alter ego of yourself or the same exact thing
Hmm.
like you, except an animal.
Hmm.
And and sometimes furries will either make or commission other fursuit makers
Hmm.
to make a fursuit of said fursona.
Yeah. So how long have you
But
been
not
working on, like, since when did you start making them? How long has this been going on?
a couple years. But I
Hmm.
would like to say that not every furry has a fursuit. In fact,
Yeah.
less than half of furries have fursuits. I'd say about 1/3 do have fursuits.
Yeah.
But yeah, about almost I think it's been exactly like 2 years now.
Hmm.
No, a little
Wow.
more. A little over 2 years, yeah.
Hmm. Well, if you were to pick a character, an animal, because you and Albert spoke for a while now, so I think you'll be able to pick a really good persona for Albert over here. What animal do you think he would be as a persona?
Hmm.
I mean, we did talk a lot about his tortoise.
Would not be.
I'd want to say a dragon.
Ooh, spicy. Yeah, that's a good representation. Because Albert's always spitting fire and roasting everybody, so I guess
I am
that's
pretty
appropriate.
angry. I'm an angry person.
Right, anyway, so into more of like AJ related questions, I guess. How long ago, can you remember how long ago you started Animal Jam?
I believe I joined around early 2014.
Hmm,
So wow, almost 5 years.
yeah, it's been a while.
That's insane. Oh my god.
Yep. Why did you choose to play Animal Jam over like the other MMOs at that time? So, like the Club Penguin, Bin Weevils, Moshi Monsters, stuff like that. Can you
To be
remember
honest,
why?
I never heard of any of those sites, and
Oh,
so
right.
like just introduced me to Animal Jam one day, and I was like, this is kind of cool.
Hmm.
I'm gonna make an account.
Hmm.
So that's just kind of how it started.
So, Knight, what's your favourite animal, like both on AJ and IRL? Because I know most of your personas are like, I don't want to say wolves, but like feline or canine animals. Is that how you say it? What's
Canine,
your
yeah.
what's your favourite animal, both on like just AJ, like the AJ models, or on in real life in general?
On Animal Jam, I'm gonna say the snow leopard. I think it's one of their best designed.
Yeah, they did
Uh,
really well with that one. Taylor Moore.
Yeah, and in real life, definitely wolves. Hence
Yeah.
why I have so many candid characters.
What's your opinion on the Arctic Wolf model on AJ? Is it overrated or no?
It is overrated, but I can see why.
Yeah. I still like wouldn't be able to switch from any other animal. Albert, you're somewhat of an AJ enthusiast. I mean, you've played on the occasion. Which model of the characters did you like the most?
I like the tiger.
Yeah, the tigers. Albert, can you remember the little meme we had going on about the seals?
Oh god. Yep.
Yeah, we really don't. We don't stand for seals.
Yeah, when I was like, there was this one day I was just playing Animal Jam, and I think I was using my seal, and my dad just came up behind me and started watching me playing, and he was like, "What is going on with that slug?" I was like,
Slug.
That's a slug.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah, great.
Right, so I wanted to ask you, I don't really understand this question myself, but could you somehow explain your main Animal Jam OC? So, like, the wolf, basically Knight, I guess, the one you have fursuit from. Can you explain,
Knight.
like, how did you come up with design, like, on AJ?
Okay.
Because it's somewhat,
So-
like, iconic, both on your page, like, when you look, that's kind of, like, your main fursuit, I guess, right?
No. So,
Hmm.
they are technically two separate characters.
Hmm.
So my Animal Jam character's name is Nightfury, and my main persona's name is Night, and they are technically two separate characters. But Night did descend from Nightfury, and like that's how I got the inspiration to make Night. But how I made my Animal Jam character, or like
Yeah, the
what it
the design's somewhat original because mostly like what everyone uses now is just headdress spike. Basically, what I use, apart from like I made that look in 2011, but like that's
right,
basically like the norm, kind of just spiked collars, throwing as many rares on as you can. Yours, I mean, you've
right,
got a spike on, but it's pretty original, like the overall outfit.
right. I think the most original thing about it is that I have a phoenix tail on. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
yeah. So my main look is a orange long spike collar, orange long wristband,
mm.
that like purplish blue worn,
Mm.
and a top hat and phoenix armor tail.
Mm.
And I don't really know how I threw it together. I think at the time I just thought that the color palette was kind of cool, but I thought that it was like too heavily warm colored, so I just kind of threw in that little dark blue purple worn, and it like really balanced
Yeah.
everything out.
Yeah, it's got a
And
nice blend of like colours and overall to it. And
yeah,
it
thank
works
you.
well with Wolf in general.
Right.
So what are some of your friends in the community? Oh god, this last part of the question. What was I thinking writing these questions down? Albert, can you see this? Jeez. Right. Sorry for my savages. Who are some of your friends in this community, if you have any? This is too deep. I'm
Wow.
sorry. Yeah, this is bad. I'm gonna need to go back
Told you
into
it was a
that.
bad idea not to say it.
What am I? Yeah, but yeah. That's the question.
Okay. Well, there's you.
Mm.
Yeah. There's you and Raiden,
Mm.
or I guess anyone listening to this
Yeah.
probably knows him as Fruits Basket 11223. He's an amazing Animal Jam artist.
Mm.
He made brilliant masterpieces, and he's probably like, he's definitely still one of my best friends.
Mm.
And I actually met him a couple months ago in
Oh
person.
right, yeah, I
and
saw the pictures.
yeah,
Yeah,
I missed
that
it
was
so
nice.
much. That was so much fun. So
Mm.
yeah, definitely you, Raiden,
Mm.
Animatrix / JoJo,
Yeah, Jojo, yeah.
Twinkly's
JoJo.
YT.
Mm.
I also met her in person. It was like 2 years ago though,
Mm.
but still. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I actually, this isn't really on topic, but still.
Mm.
So like, I remember there was like, I went to England to go visit her, and I wanted to ask you to meet up as well, but I just
Alright.
never did because I thought that would be weird, so
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Anyways,
I am looking into going to VidCon possibly after I solve like
oh
my
my god!
after I sell like my left liver, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Yes, you
But you know, I
should.
definitely want to go into the Animal Jam VidCon booth. You know, there's some special jammers. Let's just say that I definitely want to meet. You know, I think
Yeah,
you kind
you're gonna
of.
beat them up.
I think you kind of know who we're talking about here, but yeah, me would definitely be cool.
I don't have more. I feel so bad that I can't think of them off the top of my head.
No, it's good. I mean, people can just check who you're following, right? And I guess that's kind of your friends.
Well, I follow like over 1,000
Yeah,
people.
you have a problem.
I do.
Let's just say,
Okay.
yeah, it's a major problem.
I guess those 4 are like my
Mm.
close friends, so I
Yeah.
guess that's really all I can really say right
Mm.
now, because those are like my best friends, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go with that now.
Right. Are there any like I don't want to say famous, just like semi-popular, I guess, jammers that you watch or that you like their content?
Definitely Wisteria Moon. And one of the reasons why I like her is because, well, one, she's funny.
Yeah.
She makes good content. You can tell that she puts a lot of effort into it, and
Yeah.
she's so professional about it. Like, she has a website, and she's
Yeah,
very
I like
organized.
Wister, and I like the fact how like she's still doing her IRL channel sort of thing, but she hasn't like actively like sought out to leave the community.
Right. Like, she takes it very seriously
Yeah.
and professionally, and that's one of the things that I love about her.
I remember
And
one
how
thing we was talking about is how you said we liked her in I don't know how we say this. Let's just say hyped up phase.
What?
When she was doing the scream and the hyped up phase, that's when I kind of started watching Wisteria. That's when I became like a big fan.
Wisteria Moon! Yeah,
Well, that was pretty accurate. Albert, I wish you knew who we're on about, but I think the only like jam Albert knows about is like Apari.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
Yeah, good old
I
the
definitely
Parry.
did like Parry though. Like
Mm.
even when his content started to go a little downhill, I still liked
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
But, you know,
I mean, I'm surprised I don't have beef with the guy because, like, I mean,
I'm
Night,
surprised too.
Night, you see what goes on
Literally
Instagram.
everyone.
You see what kind of goes on Instagram. I mean, I've argued with his sister Beppa, but yeah, Apari, like, bear in mind the videos I made about him, he does seem like an alright guy in general. It's just, you know,
Right.
some slight criticism, but yeah.
Even though she doesn't play anymore, I love Gummy Unicorn / Tang / Pony Pals Forever. I think that's her old name.
Gummicon.
She doesn't play anymore.
Yeah,
but I
I've
definitely
heard a
love
lot
her.
about Gummicon.
Yeah, she's so sweet. I love
Mm.
her. I've met her a couple of times
Mm.
in person, and I just love hanging out with her. She's so
Mm.
great. Let's see who else. I don't really watch too many Animal Jam YouTubers anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
To be
either. It's just
completely
kind of.
honest.
It's kind of just like I think we've seen like everyone evolve past like just being normal like people that play the game that just talk about the game into like everyone trying to jump on their Jambassador wagon, you know, to get flown out to VidCon by AJ. That's kind of all it's become now.
Right.
That's how
so
I feel
those
about
are
it.
kind of who I watch, I guess.
Yeah, right. Those are some good ones. This is another kind of like I guess we're getting into sort of a tea phase, if you can call
Right.
it that. What do you think of the game in its current state? So, like in general, the community, I guess, and the game features, like the updates, stuff like that that's coming. What do you think of it in its current state?
I think it's actually okay.
Hmm. Damn, that's controversial. Hmm.
Sure. No,
No bad, no.
I think it's okay. It definitely has its flaws. No
Hmm.
community is perfect, but
Yeah.
I have learned how to look past the flaws and
Hmm.
still find the things that I love and have loved and just
Yeah.
all of the aspects that I still love. Yes, old aspects of the game don't exactly appeal to me anymore, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it anymore. There are definitely things about
Yeah,
it
and
that
I
still
really like respect you for that because you seem to like genuinely be enjoying like the people that you meet and the game in general. Like you still like genuinely want to carry on playing it. I mean, I guess I honestly bear in mind like the amount of people I make videos on. I still like the community, I guess. I mean, that's the only reason why I stay. You know,
Right.
I just have you know like slight misunderstandings with some people, but apart from that, I mean, yeah,
Light
the
is
community
a
is definitely like the reason why most people stay, I guess.
right.
Right, how was AJ back when you started? So, you know, like a couple of years ago, what is it, 4 years you mentioned that you've been in here now?
Almost 5.
Yeah, what was it like back then, and how do you think it's kind of like evolved? What's changed?
It was definitely more community based back then.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of a rare contest.
Hmm,
I mean, not all of it is a rare contest, but it was definitely more connected 5 years
Yeah.
ago than it
That's
is
what I
now.
mean.
I still think that there's a very heavy sense of community and I guess family
hmm.
sense involved in it, but it's just like the rarity system has gotten too out of hand and it just gets
I know,
addicting.
it's just... I mean, I have some friends that really care about this as well, and I'm kind of just like, what are you doing? But it's all about the rares now. You literally can't scroll through Instagram with it, like, trade attempts, you know, kids begging, things like that. It's just all over.
I really don't care about rares anymore. The only
Yeah.
reason why I collect them is so I can commission other artists.
Yeah, because,
Or-
right, that's another thing. Like,
or
people,
art-
if you guys don't know, people, like, give artists items on Animal Jam, and then they, like, make them out, right? Commissions.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I do that aside from PayPal.
Mhm.
Occasionally I open for taking Animal Jam items.
Hmm.
And I'm actually doing that right now, but it's so that way I can save up for a
Alright,
huge art.
So if any of you
contest.
guys want to, like, commission Night, right? Is this on your Instagram?
You can contact me on Instagram, Amino, YouTube, anything.
Yeah, right. So you guys can contact Night if you want any art. I mean, the art you make is honestly amazing, and thank you so much. I guess this is an alright time to mention like the art you made for my channel and my page. I mean,
Aw.
you made my YouTube suddenly just look so professional. Like I've had Albert. I'm not sure if you realize. I think I already told you that Night's making me art, but like some people are just like, "Who's this?" Like really surprised at my channel, like how different it looks. So yeah,
Aw.
it looks really,
so professional now.
it looks really,
Like,
really
I was
good.
shocked when I saw it because it
Yeah.
looks so good.
Thank you so much. Right, the other thing I wanted to ask you, I guess it's sort of on the same line, but what makes you personally stay in the game or stay in a community? Like, apart from, I guess, the art aspect and the community, like, what makes you stay in it? What are some of the stuff you like?
Definitely the community and the friends that I have made, but you kind of already said
Yeah.
aside from that. But honestly, one of the biggest things that I love about the game itself is the graphics and you know, all the like amazing, just beautiful graphics of the game.
It really amazes me how many years it's been. But you know Taylor Moore, right? I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm probably gonna butcher it. But yeah, I mean, congrats to Taylor Moore. I mean, I don't want to dig too deep into this, but I don't know how that guy's been in AJHQ for so long, making like such great art. I mean, that guy should like get hired for like a AAA game or something. It's really
I've talked
just
to him before. He's
yeah,
so
I
nice.
talked to him a lot as well. He's just amazing. Like, just the fact that he has to keep up with the Animal Jam deadlines, obviously, you know, all the updates and things like that. Like he's constantly just making all these new animals and things. I mean, it's obviously not just him; it's the whole team entirely. But yeah, it's really, really good. You ever thought about working for AJHQ as an artist?
Possibly. Maybe that would be kind of cool. I don't think it's something that I would actually.
I mean, you're really busy with a lot of other stuff, right?
What?
You're definitely busy with a lot of other stuff as well, like the furry commissions, the art commissions, things like that. Yeah. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid. Sorry, I cut you off. My bad. But yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I was just like thinking about joining AJHQ, being on the amazing art team, you know. Now look where I am making YouTube videos. Anyway. Right, this is kind of a deep one. I don't want to go too into depth into this one, and you don't really have to answer if you don't want to, but
it's okay.
We've seen all of these people, I mean, all these popular jammers throughout the years, just kind of leave, and some of them making a genuine, like, stand in a genuine, like, goodbye video and things like that. But do you ever see yourself quitting?
Not really. I mean, I will definitely one day. I'm not going to be in this community forever, and I know that. I mean, like, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to quit soon. I'm definitely staying, and I do not plan on quitting anytime soon whatsoever.
Well, that's great,
I know that this community is always going to hold a place in my heart, even when I'm much older. I will still remember it, and you know, it'll still hold a very dear place in my heart, even after I have left when I am older. But yeah, no, I don't see myself quitting anytime soon.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't know about you. If you've had that, have you ever had like a sort of break or something like that? Have you ever had that?
There was this one time when I had a little 3-month break, but that's it.
Yeah, well, I've had a couple of months break. I think you remember it, right? You see where I'm going here. That time where, my Instagram got permanently banned, and I was trying for months to get it back because I just couldn't. I mean, I sometimes don't understand how these people, you know, that have been in the AJ community for so long, Parry, how they just can leave without making like a genuine like leaving video, I guess, appreciating their fans for all the years. It's like, I mean, for the months I was gone, it was honestly like breaking my heart. Like I couldn't focus at school or anything. I was literally depressed. Like I just couldn't.
Oh.
So yeah, it's nice to see other people that like genuinely care about the community and don't want to leave. You can't leave, Knight. I'm making you stay.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm saying here.
That's fine.
Right. Now we're getting to the even more juicier stuff, you know, the real tea. Sip.
Oh.
Right, what's your opinion on just drama in the community in general? I know you've kind of made a video. Have you made? Yeah, you have made a video on this on your YouTube channel about this, right?
Oh no, I have not, but it is.
That's the upcoming one. That's the upcoming one. Right. Do you wanna? You don't have to talk about this, but do you want to kind of give a short little opinion on what you think about the drama in general?
Yeah, I can give a short little
sneak peek,
quote-unquote short opinion. I absolutely hate it. It's so toxic and it's so bad for your mental health, and people don't realize that, and it can cause lifelong problems.
I know, right?
And I will explain that in my video.
Yep.
And it'll go into the psychological things that happen in your brain when dealing with things like this, and why it's not bad for you. I mean, and why it is bad for you. Oh my god, I can't speak English. So yeah, I mean, I personally don't care for it. And people say, like, it's so hard to avoid, but it's not really. Like, I have never gotten involved with Animal Jam drama.
Yeah, it really isn't hard to avoid. I mean, I get myself in it deliberately, but it really isn't hard to avoid and just enjoy the community, like, normally.
Right, I just simply ignore it, and I'm fine. It's so easy to just move on and not get involved with it.
Now I just want to ask as an outsider's perspective from Albert here. Albert, when you see, because you mostly, the only AJ stuff you really look at is like stuff I send you or the videos I make on AJ, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
what's your opinion, just like an outsider, just like a normal, or should I say semi-normal person, looking over this whole AJ thing, this whole AJ drama, these kids arguing, what's your opinion on it? What do you
Well,
think?
What are they really arguing about?
Well, exactly, I mean,
That's
sometimes it's
That's
hard...
what I wonder myself half the time.
Sometimes it's hard to like find the actual cause of a problem. I mean, I literally get tagged in things all the time, and I kind of look at it. And I actually contacted a friend recently. She was like, "Pat, you need to help me with this." Like, she's arguing with someone on AJ, and I was like, "Well, I'm looking at it, and I don't get what the argument's about. It's just really confusing." I feel like, yeah, AJ drama in general. Like, you see all these AJ drama pages on Instagram, right? I mean, it's something that just people really like gloriarize. I'm sorry, I can't.
Glorify.
Yeah, that. It's something like people generally seem happy about sometimes. It's just... Yeah,
It's
I agree,
really
it's definitely toxic.
Okay, and one of the things that's really disappointing to me, and I mentioned this in my video, but like I've heard so many people say that drama is like one of the biggest things that's keeping this community entertaining. And seeing others suffer and be in conflict is a really sadistic way of getting entertainment. That's what disappoints me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you think the people that, because this term has kind of been tossed around, like, really loosely, it only really majorly come into contact, like, when people really do something like contact underage girls. I'm not going to mention names for this one because it's disgusting, but, do you think that some of the jammers that really, like, fuck up deserve to be exposed? What's your opinion on that? Not exposed necessarily, just, like, in general talked about, because that word's really just overused at this point.
I think if there's an actual serious situation, you should leave it out of the community and just report it to someone with actual power, like the police or something. If it's a real problem, don't bring the community into it because that won't get you anywhere. If there's a real problem, then you go to someone with authority.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good way to look at it, yeah.
Not just a community of 10 to 18-year-olds.
Well, I kind of been stalking your page throughout the years, so I would have noticed it, I feel like. But have you yourself gotten into any, like, beef? And if you have, who was involved? Do you want to name drop?
No, I haven't.
You really haven't, have you? I mean, it's honestly, like, it's beyond me sometimes. Like, I look at your page, like, and I'm like, oh, really? There's never been anything.
Well, like I said, it's mostly, I try to keep it as professional as I can, and it's really immature to just start things.
Do you ever get people attacking you, though, or something like that?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. But I approach it with a much more, like, cooperative manner.
Yeah.
I don't blow it out of proportion and make a big deal out of it. I talk to them one-on-one, and if I don't resolve anything, then I just block them and move on. It's
exactly.
Really not that
and
hard.
You have been following, I guess this is also a good space to mention it. I was going to mention it at the beginning, but congrats on 6,000. Yesterday was it? Congrats. Really proud of you. Did really well. Yeah, but I was just saying, like, especially since you have a lot more, like, eyes on you, sort of, do you know what I mean? People are just, like, gonna keep searching for a reason now to, like, knock you down, possibly. And how do you deal with these, like, comments or things like that? Do you just, like, mostly ignore them or try to, like, cooperate?
Both. It depends, because if it's just some, little bored...
Yeah, 10-year-old spamming the...
I mostly just ignore it and move on, or tell them, like, I try to explain to them why that's not okay to say things like that, and how even if you mean it as a quote-unquote joke, it's still not okay and can actually really affect people. But, other than that, I kind of just try to ignore it because, even if it does get to me at all, eventually I will be able to remind myself that people will always get hate at some point in their life.
And you sort of walk out of it as a bigger person at the end of the day, don't you?
Yeah, you can't just give up or
Yeah.
leave something because you get criticism or hate, because you are going to be criticized and hated on your whole life,
Yeah.
but you can't let that get in the way of you
Yeah.
and whatever you are passionate about. So that's just what I remind myself at the end of the day. If something like that ever does get to me, I just remember like what I'm really trying to accomplish here is just to be an artist and to spread my work.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about your work, since you've just ended it on that beautiful note, how
thank you.
have you changed your content like throughout the years or throughout the time you played AJ? Just in on YouTube and on Instagram, like what sort of stuff have you been posting before? Because honestly, like I tried looking back as far as I could, and it just seemed to be doing art and sort of like fursuit things and monster nature. Is there anything else?
So I'm first gonna go into Instagram because that's kind of the most relevant thing, I guess, about me. But when I first joined, it was primarily art, but it was also me just posting about the community and like those god awful useless tag memes. Like the normal cringy 11-year-old stuff that kids do on Instagram.
Oh, I think I
And,
know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And I have since deleted those because they're unprofessional and useless and take up everyone's time, and it's awful. But that's
you still one thing I want to
say
say though is that you still have like a really nice sort of timeline on your Instagram, so like people can look back and see how much you improved on your art and things like that, and even you can look back. That's like really important. I absolutely hate with a passion when people delete their whole feed, just wipe it out.
Oh, I know, same.
Like, you have all this stuff that you made, like, why are you getting rid of it?
Like, those people who have, like, 8,000 followers and they only have 3 posts. It's like, why? Stop it.
Disgusting. Right, this is, like, sort of another one related to this, but more about you. So, have you, like, this is either willingly or unwillingly, have you, like, changed your, or adjusted your personality throughout the time you played Animal Jam? Like, online? Is there anything like you kind of did so like maybe seemed nicer or maybe not focused on the drama but used to? Is there anything like you changed personally for yourself?
I think so. I think back then back when I first started, I was really oblivious to everything, and that was a huge problem because I wasn't
no one ever knows what they're getting themselves into when they start this.
Right.
It's hard to believe.
Never fully aware of what was going on or how it could affect people or what people were going through.
Yeah, right.
And I feel like I was never a super judgmental person, but I was definitely much more judgmental back then. And I was just really quick to assume things and whatnot. But now I definitely am a much more empathetic person than I was. I mean, I feel like I've always been an empathetic person, but it's definitely increased now.
Yeah.
And I to recognize core problems, try to look past community drama and just focus on the person rather than the problem.
Yeah.
And who they are as a person, what they think about what they possibly could be going through, trying to help them and just being more aware, not even about myself but everyone else, and just things like that, I guess.
Yeah, I know, like, speaking from first-hand perspective, I mean, it's been, since 2011 that I've been in this community. It really does change it, like, either for the better or for the worse, but you can definitely see the change, like, throughout the years. It's something
I think I've definitely changed for the better.
Yeah. Can't relate. Anyways, on to the next one. And that on that note, but do you see or think that this is once again a bit of tea, so you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. Do you see or think that any jammers in particular in the community, like mostly on Instagram is like where we would see this sort of stuff, are like fraud snakes with like fake personalities? Have you noticed any? Or have you noticed that it's like a sort of a trend that people do on Animal Jam to like kind of gain more followers or things like that?
Yes.
It's definitely a thing, right?
And I think that that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Like, especially the Jambassadors.
Yes. Yeah. I know what you mean.
I feel like this is a huge problem that they are forced to be constantly positive, and I think
that's
out
why.
Of fear.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on to a question real soon. It's a really important one, but yeah, this whole Jambassador thing, like, it really. they think they're doing the good for the community, like all their followers get happy for them and things like that. But they really have to like change their personality, just like we mentioned before, and they've just got to change
Right.
their whole content. And you know, some people, especially like Apari, who want to do the type of stuff they do. I mean, Apari curses now, you know, things like that. Just typical stuff that he wants to do. Like he would not be able to do that if he went on the Jambassador program, which just really
Right.
sucks. Because you'll have
Thing
eyes
is-
on him all the time, and they probably would kick him, which is kind of
Right.
shitty.
And the thing is, it's like, you know, they have to put on this smile even if they're broken and have to talk about nothing but positive things. And I think that that's really bad, especially for their impressionable viewers or followers, because it's okay to express that things aren't okay. It's 100% okay to talk about the not so great things, because everyone needs to be taught, and it's better sooner than later that there are going to be bad things that happen, but
Exactly.
and you can't run from that. And I think that that's the problem, is
Forced,
that
the whole forced
there's
positivity
forced
mentality.
positivity, right.
Yep, exactly.
And it's bad because people need to learn that bad things can happen and you can still be strong when bad things happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And just
kinda
just on another note, because Albert, I know you haven't really experienced some of the people like over on Instagram. I mean, I occasionally send you like pictures or stuff like that, but I mean, some of the people that I've been making videos on recently, I mean, you've kind of see how like people on AJ, like they try to act like the victims occasionally and try to fabricate evidence, and I mean that's a common theme that really like runs throughout. It's just this whole like trying to appeal to your fans and like trying to appeal to like the AJ people, you know, the Jambassadors, I guess, to really, you know. But yeah, it's quite visible.
Yeah.
Just be yourself. Right, this is gonna be a bold question, just straight up. Are you ready? Do you like rares?
Yes and no. I don't. So, in the grand scheme of things, I don't care about them.
Yeah, for personal, like, because I know people are going to point this out. Patch, but your Arctic Wolf has a headdress on it and a spiked collar. Okay, one, that account's gone, okay. And two, I look at items based not on their quote-unquote value in the game, but, like, based on if I like them. Just based on, like, the design and overall. Like, I look at the art more.
Like, people, like, tell me that I'm basic because I like spike collars so much and frequently use them.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons why I like spike collars so much is, one, they're pretty, and two, I really love drawing them.
I used to despise them.
I really love
I don't know why,
them.
but I used to have this mentality that, oh, spiked collars are only for gothy kids, for edgy kids. I can't wear one on my main look, but then I ended up actually wearing one. And I did like it on my main outfit, but like I had this weird mentality about spikes. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, yes and no. I don't care about their rarity, but I do like owning them because they're pretty, I guess?
Yeah, it's whatever you enjoy, innit? Whatever you like.
Right.
Right, so now kind of tying into that, what's your opinion, not just on the current, like, values or things like that, but just your opinion on, in general, there being a rarity system in the game, like, a game for little kids such as Animal Jam? What's your opinion on there being a rarity system?
Way too confusing.
Yep. Like especially, imagine some kid like trying to get their, imagine some kid trying to get their favorite item and be like, just asking someone and they're like, oh yeah, that's definitely worth 10 black long spiked collars, and then they're like, okay, so what can I trade to get 10 long spiked collars? And then they're like, 25 den betas, and then like, what's worth a den beta? And do you see what I mean? It's kind of like a laddering thing, and it's just,
yeah.
I feel sorry for these kids that are trying to like genuinely play the game and just get the items they want and stuff.
Same, like, and that's one of the reasons why, since I don't, in the grand scheme of things, care about rares, if there is someone who really wants it, I'll just, like, half the time I'll just give it to them. Because I don't care, and it'll make them happy temporarily.
Yeah,
you know?
right. I know what you mean.
I'll just sometimes just give some random kid who, like, you know, just kind of trying so hard to get a spike, and if I have one, I'll just give it to them because I honestly don't care.
Yeah.
And if it'll make them happy, then I'll give it to them.
Talking about spikes, since we're on a topic, there's going to be, for those viewers who are still watching, by the way, hi, how are all 5 of you? There's going to be a spike giveaway featured in this podcast, so, you know, just watch out for that. But anyway, just the last little question, I guess, about the rarity system whole sort of thing. This is going to be the last one, don't worry, it bores me as well. How do you think removing the trading system would impact the game? Just straight up gone.
A lot of people would leave because, like I said earlier, the game has kind of progressed from just community based to a rare competition.
Yep.
So I think it would definitely impact it in a negative way.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Throughout the years, like, I feel like I'm the only one that sort of feels this way. I'm not really sure. I've never been into trading. I mean, I had to trade to get some items, obviously, but most of the time, honestly, I just absolutely despise trading, like, the whole concept of it. Just, like, trading on this kid's game. Because, I mean, all you do is dress up animals and make little houses with items. Like, you should just have access to the items you want to sort of make your den. I don't know, that's kind of the way I think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because I just want to, you know, make stuff in general and not just brag to kids about my new spike, you know? It's just kind of cringy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can kind of say, I guess, I don't want to sound too hypocritical, as for any of you who have watched the very sad story of the fall of PatchTheAlpha up on my channel, I kind of talk about briefly how I ran an item selling cartel on animaljam, where I basically sold items. But that was kind of a thing because I didn't care about the item's value, so I began selling them as a way. And I gave most of them out to my friends for free, basically. But yeah, just a sense of that I did receive a lot of rares. Like, at one point, I was extremely very rare. But it's just kind of, I really never cared, if that makes sense. I don't want to sound too hypocritical in this, but just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, is there any AJ feature, like, in the game, or any, like, particular thing, it can be an item, I guess, as well, that you would like to see gone, just completely removed? Albert, I know what yours is, right? We're both on the same page here. What seal's gone, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's get rid of them.
Yeah. Is there any other thing that you kind of, like, can think of? Like, any feature or something? It can just be a thing that nobody ever uses that you'd like to see gone, or...
I don't know, to be honest. I honestly can't think of one.
Yeah, this is kind of a stupid question. I mean, I guess the only other thing... I guess that sort of gets... Well, I'd never used it. Not really, no. The jammer wall, do people still use that? Do the kids use that? Is that still hip?
I think it's useful. I think it's useful in certain scenarios.
Yeah, I never understood, like, the whole appeal of it. I guess for friends to talk on it and, like, communication, but then you have jammergrams, so, like, kind of what's the point?
Well, like, what if your jammergrams are full? Then they can message you on your jammer wall.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, yeah. I always wanted to, like, sort of do a fun thing on there, like, kind of mini-games on the jammer wall, but it never sort of... Yeah, I almost got it to work one time, but then I fucked it up. Let's just say that. I kind of tried doing, like, a handman game or, like, noughts and crosses on it, but it really went bad. Because it's just, yeah.
Why?
It's just, I don't know what I was doing. I was kind of experimenting with it, trying to basically get more out of it, if you know what I mean, because it didn't seem that fun to me. But yeah, for the second question, it's kind of tied into this. Is there any AJ feature you would like to see added or improved on?
Yes, definitely. I think that
Can be multiples
it would
if
be
you
really
want.
cool if there was, like, 2 different art programs, like the basic one that exists today.
Oof, I've been talking about my good friend. Sengishan with this. You know Seng, right?
Yes.
He is so. I swear every artist must, like, be so miserable when they use that thing. Albert, you know the little drawing thing in game, right? On the 24-hour live stream where we're drawing and just kind of messing about. It's really, for actual artists, because there are some people that make really great art in animaljam and then just hang it up on the wall and stuff on AJ, which is really cool. But, like, the features, they need more features, more brush types, more things in general, just more options. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, what do you think of it at the moment?
Okay, so kind of back to what I was saying, you know, there would be, like, a basic one for, like, maybe like beginners or
enthusiasts,
like, younger
just, like,
people, but then there'd be, like, what would be really cool if there was also an advanced art system with like layers, more brushes, more
Yeah.
color options,
Built-in
and
Photoshop.
just things like that. I think really cool.
Yeah.
Especially the whole thing with layers. Oh my god, that would be so nice.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because sometimes, like, there's, like, sort of a backwards remove tool, I guess, but that works really dodgily sometimes, right?
You can only do it once.
What, really? Oh
yeah, you
my
can only
god.
go backwards once, and if
That
you
is
make a
so
new,
bad.
if you like make a new mark, you
Yeah.
can't go back again.
That is so bad. I feel so, like, bad for artists. I know I've had some art done in there,
know.
like, and it's just... It's really miserable. It sounds really bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're getting in the sort of just generalization. I mean, I might mention specifics, but I don't kind of really want to. What's your just opinions on scammers in general in the game?
Okay.
I feel like most of us have a very universal opinion and think the same thing about it. But you know, just how much do you hate them?
It doesn't matter too much because again, they're just rares that aren't gonna matter in 10
Yep.
years. But at the same time,
It's
it can
a
lead
shitty
to
thing
really
to
bad
do.
habits. Like it can get really addicting, and
I
I
know
know that
what you
because
mean,
I
yeah.
have friends who have scammed before, and
Hmm.
it can get really, really addicting really
Yeah.
fast, and it can lead to like if you get too carried away,
I see what you
eventually
mean.
rares
You'll
won't
get
matter
into
to
some
you
serious
anymore, and then
trouble.
you'll get into
You'll move on,
like
yeah.
real scamming, like with
Mhm.
money,
Yep.
and you just don't want to get carried away with something like that.
Yeah, that would be bad. I'm sure we're thinking of some people in real life that we know of that have done some sketchy things. We've got some we've literally got some people in mind. I mean, they didn't start on AJ, but we kind of see how it develops. Do you know what I mean? This whole scamming thing. It's really not a good habit to have. Now this is a totally different one. This one might get me triggered, Knight.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully not. You might hate me, but anyway, what's your opinion on item sellers? People that sell Animal Jam items for real money.
I have mixed feelings about it. Because one, I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's too harmful.
Yeah. Bear in mind, we're not talking about the people that scam, because I know for a fact there's people that use this as sort of a scam way. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me the money first, and then I'll give you your items, and then it just run off or something ridiculous like that. Just like actual genuine, like, people that sell items to, like, the friends or something.
I don't think that there's too much real harm in it.
I mean,
but again, it like technically is against the Animal Jam rules. So like I have two different opinions.
Yeah, I want to
like,
get into that.
Yeah, it's great because it's against the rules, but at the same time, there's no real harm in it.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean I condone it, but that doesn't mean that I hate it.
Yeah, when it's done right, I mean, when there's genuine people just doing it and they don't want to do any harm, like scam people or anything in them, I think it should totally be allowed. And I'm telling you, the reason, I'm going to put on my little conspiracy theory hat here, but the reason is because, honestly, I'm sure everybody watching or has heard about, you know, the current community manager over at Animal Jam. I don't really want to use racial terms, but, you know, let's just say they're a bit of a big-nosed person, you know. They're really scrounging onto them pennies trying to milk Animal Jam for as much money as people can possibly get out of it. You know, whether it's all the diamond bundles that they're influencing, whether it's every, you know, feature sort of trying to get jammers to basically pay more. And it really honestly hurts them when I see, you know, popular jammers, right, Scum? When I see people like Scum and a ton of cash, like, through selling items, it just triggers them. That's how I feel about it.
I think they're really, like, I don't want to throw too much shade because I know a couple of people who are at AJHQ and they're very nice people.
I've got one in particular, and I specifically know, and one day I'm going to make a video on it, and it's going to be half an hour long, and it's going to be just the biggest tea party you've ever seen. But anyway, that's just, I know in specific one person that's in charge, which is really, like, pulling the strings in a really shitty way, and it's honestly, it hurts me, because people get banned, like, permanently deleted from the game, and then they just don't have the will to come back. Like, I'm obviously not one of these people. I'll just keep making backup accounts, keep banning me, I'll come back. But it just hurts to see people, like, you know, that have earned the way up and just kind of, yeah, you're banned now.
Because here's the thing, though, like, Scorm sold items, and Animal
If
Jam
you guys,
has
sorry, if you guys don't
hated
know,
him
by the way,
ever
my
since,
my
like,
account got
absolutely
permanently
hated him.
banned for selling
that.
items. If no one knows, then I was just
Right, like,
curious.
Scorm like sold items, and Animal Jam still hates him. But
Mhm.
like Sethy and Typical Rocky sold items, and now
A
they're the
parry,
ambassadors.
a parry,
and
their
loved by-
golden boy parry. He sold.
Right.
I'm
So
pretty
like,
sure we
I think
looked
it's a
into it
really
and
messed
everyone's
up
done it.
hypocritical system.
It's terrible. It's absolute cancer. And they don't stick to their own rules, which is one of the main things like I'm collecting evidence on. But yeah, it's just, don't use inappropriate words. Yeah, one of them names their files and shows it on a live stream, and the file names are shit balls. So that's a fun one. You remember what I'm talking about, right, Knight?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Albert, for you, you might not know this. AJHQ occasionally goes live on their YouTube channel just to showcase some of the updates, so I don't know what they do. It's cancerous and cringy, I never watch. But anyway, one time, some of the community managers, in specific one of them, they showcased some of the files saved on the AJHQ work desktops. And let's just say, some of the files had very inappropriate names.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's just one of the many things, I have a ton of information I've kind of been gathering. But yeah, I just find it kind of, this whole system is really hypocritical and just, it's bad. They're not keeping to their own rules. But just a slight rant in general. Right, okay, this is a stupid question because I've kind of gathered just questions based on overall things. The question is, are you interested in art within the community? So what I mean by this is like, I guess sort of, what intrigues you? Is it the styles of the artists? Have you got any artists that you want to talk about in particular?
Okay. There are definitely a bunch of artists that I love and are dear to my heart, and I have actually befriended. Like Flooflees, I know she's since left the community, but she makes gorgeous art, and also his name, I don't remember what his name used to be. I think he used to be, oh my god, what was his name? I don't know, but now it's like, oh my god, I don't remember his name. I don't know, whatever it is, he's super good. And I just absolutely adore his art style. It's very clean. And I think what's really amazing about the art aspect in this community is how diverse it is. And how it's like so amazing that
there's so many there's so many creative people like in this community. It really is like nice.
Yeah, it really is. And it's so beautiful to see all these different art styles and how people are this like similar and different, and what like each individual artist has to bring for this community.
Yeah, right. Now this is like a major T-part because I know you're involved like heavily within the art, like most of the popular artists in the community, I would like to say, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I've kind of mentioned it about like fake people, or like people presenting themselves like just as a snake to their fans, just not being honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound too generalized, but it's honestly the truth, and I'm going to say it because that's why I think. Have you noticed how a lot of the artists, a lot of the AJ artists, are fake snakes? Or is that just something I've come across? I don't know. Once again, I don't want to sound too general.
Because I haven't noticed it too much. I mean, there are definitely a couple people who are like that, but I think I just mostly try to look past that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just something that you've noticed.
I mean, yeah, because
I'm scared. Just
some of the people I'm talking from like personal experience. I mean, I was great friends, and I'm gonna name drop. I've been great friends with Glacier and Madame Porcy, and they turned out to be fucking bitches of snakes. So yeah, that's just kind of one thing that really stuck out to me, like the artists. And I know it's not every single one. I've got great like artist friends like you, Senghis Artemis. You remember Artemis?
Oh yeah.
I'm really curious, like, what's happened with Artemis. I should probably message her, because I've got her on a couple of platforms. But yeah, there's a lot of like great artists, but also I've just noticed that for some reason it's some of the artists that turn out to be like the biggest cunts. I don't know why.
Because like even
I feel like it's their ego. It's their ego, and I'm not one to talk.
I'm different.
I'm not one to talk, but I feel like
I'm different. Not that I have a big ego. But the reason why I'm often scared to be honest with my followers is because I deal with very heavy things that not
Yeah.
everyone is going to understand. And I'm talking like severe depression, severe
I understand,
anxiety,
yeah.
eating disorder, sleeping problems. Not everyone is going to understand what I'm going through. And I am scared that people will leave me or abandon me or be scared of me if I be open about my problems and who I really am and what I suffer with and that and why I don't like to talk.
Well, I can tell you now for myself, and I'm sure that's for every single one of the people that follows you, like, we all truly care about you, and, you know, anytime, I mean, I try to be as active as I can whilst I message you, and, you know, to try to help with anything that you may be going through. But yeah, just bear that in mind, that every single one of your followers, like, really cares about you.
Thank you. It's still just scary to be
Yeah, I
open
know.
about something as serious as that.
Like, I mean, I pretty much got to a state where I'm not sure. God, this is kind of embarrassing to talk about. Have you seen, like, a year ago, or maybe 2, where I was regularly having breakdowns on my Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I kind of stopped now because, like, I realized doing the content I do and kind of, like, being this guy who criticizes others, it's really hard to sometimes just, like, kind of talk as well. I know it's for different reasons for both of us. Like, you struggle with some really serious stuff, and that's why you don't talk, I guess. But for me, it was kind of like just, I've got to keep this thing up, and how, like, I don't want to say how people portray me, but it's just sort of a thing, like, people will pick up on, be like, oh, you're calling me out, yet you were having a breakdown on Instagram, haha, this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
the thing is that every problem is valid. No
Yeah.
matter if someone is going through something.
And if anybody
what
were
would
to
make their
call, like,
worst-
if anybody were to call someone out on that, that would just be disgusting, like, calling somebody out on their mental breakdown or their health in general. But
right, 'cause
yeah,
it's not something you can control.
yeah, exactly.
But like the thing is that every problem is valid.
Mhm.
And while if you may think that you are going through something that is quote unquote worse than the other person, that doesn't mean that it's a big deal to them and how it could affect them.
Mhm.
Like like everyone deals with things differently.
Yeah.
And just because you may going through something that's quote unquote worse doesn't mean that their problem isn't bad to them.
Right.
So we really just need to pay attention
And
to
that's really
that
part of,
everyone
like, being
suffers.
honest with your followers again, right?
Yeah.
As we mentioned, like, you don't want to be fake and just not really being honest to your followers.
But at the same time, I don't want to scare them.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Right, this is kind of an odd one I just threw in there. As well as, like, artists, bratty children, toxic teenagers, and other, like, sort of groups of people. Do you know what I mean? Like, sort of high school class groups, if that makes sense. What other sort of, like, groups do you see play Animal Jam?
I don't really know.
Yeah, that's kind of just, like, one I threw in there. I wasn't really sure, but yeah. I mean, we've talked about kind of, like, the rare kids and the fake people, but that's about it. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, mostly just artsy
Yeah, there's, like,
people, and then
yeah.
the basic people who also just happen to play this weird game.
Yeah. Right,
But, you know.
why do you think, like, a regular, like, day-to-day jammer might quit the game? Like, what is there that would make them quit? Like, I'm not talking about semi-popular jammers or things like that. Just a regular jammer that plays the game.
Well, it could just not appeal to them anymore. It's perfectly okay for people to just move on and from
Yeah.
something that they used to. And that happens. People just lose interest in things, and that's not necessarily their fault. It's just that's not something that they can necessarily control. It's just if they aren't interested in something anymore, then they
Yeah.
are interested in it. And so it's better to leave that if you aren't interested in it anymore, and if it's just taking up your time but you don't exactly care about it as much as you used to anymore, then it's perfectly okay to move on from that.
Albert,
But
if I say I'm quitting AJ tomorrow, what would you do?
I'd be very shocked.
I'm too deep
fly
into
to
this.
England
I'm
and
too
just-
deep.
Exactly.
I'm too deep into this. I'm balls deep. I can't get out of it. Anyway, right. So the next thing is, why do you think semi-popular to, like, famous jammers could leave the game? Like, not just the game, but the community and their, like, fan base that they made. So, you know, sort of like Apari, things like that. I guess Julian could
Again-
count as that too.
Again, some people just lose interest in something,
Yeah.
and that's not their fault. But
It does trigger me,
there-
however, how like they have this fan base and they're not doing anything about it. Do you know what I mean? They just absolutely abandon it without even making a valid like sort of video telling everybody
I mean,
what they're
Jelly
doing.
Jones was very sincere in her
Ooh,
leaving
that's
video.
not on my question, but who is that?
She
I'm gonna get a lot
was
of
a
hate for
very
this.
popular.
Everyone's been talking about this and telling me to make a video on it, but I literally have no idea who she is. I tried going on her Instagram and she's got me blocked, so I was like, oh, okay. Okay, no tea.
A very popular
Huh.
YouTuber, and she was really great. She was really kind.
I
met
believe
her
I
in
watched,
person, and she's
like-
really.
I believe I watched like one of her videos and nothing really stood out to me. Like there wasn't really anything that special. But that's just me talking. That's just me being a ignorant bastard. But yeah, I did hear about her. I didn't watch her quitting video, but how many subscribers did she have again?
Sincere about it, and even made like a little compilation of her progress throughout the years,
Oh,
and
that
was
sounds
very
nice.
sincere about her goodbye,
Hmm.
and like profoundly kept thanking everyone for
Hmm.
all of their support and how it still holds a dear place in her heart,
Hmm.
like everything that she's accomplished in this community.
Well,
And
Jelly Jones,
like, have
I don't
lots-
like you because you blocked me on Instagram, but feel free to come on the podcast to defend yourself. Just kidding. But anyway, right, so that's kind of like the jammers. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, I guess, really, isn't it? Just a regular jammer and one that's built a following. It's sad to see them not use that fan base for something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Apari, he's doing his own separate thing, like, with the whole rapping sort of stuff. But he's not, like, introduced any of his followers to it, and I kind of see why. I guess it's not something he wants to associate them with, especially some of them being really young, you know what I mean? But, like, yeah. So, yeah, there's that. What's your favourite platform / social media for Animal Jam?
Instagram.
If you say Amino, I'm gonna kick you out of this call.
Instagram.
Alright, good. Yeah, I agree. I started on for Facebook pages. I'm not sure if you ever came in contact with them. They were super good. They were like really nice. And then I moved on to Instagram. But that's where I like really started, like back in 2012 or something, when I joined the communities. But yeah, Instagram, I see it, yeah. But now I kind
You
of...
were like 12 years old, man.
Yep. But yeah, now I kind of see myself... I don't want to... See what I mean? I like really don't want to leave my fans on Instagram because I know not all of them are going to enjoy the content I post on here on YouTube. But like, I'm transitioning over to YouTube, kinda. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
just
understandable.
prefer this sort of like... I don't know. I just like making videos, I guess. There's not much to it.
Yeah.
It's kind
that's
of like,
fair.
I don't have to make really long posts talking about something ranting when I can just make a quick video about it. By quick, I mean
Yeah.
20 minutes. Oh, that's a problem I have.
That's valid.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry, I just mentioned, I kind of want to go into that. You're on Amino, right?
Yes.
AJ Amino. Albert, do you know what Amino is, the app? You heard of
No.
it? Right, basically, I'm gonna say what I think it is, and Knight will actually explain it, because I've never used the app. Actually, I have used it once, and I hated it. But anyway, basically, Amino is kind of... I guess it's sort of similar to Discord, honestly. You kind of go in there, and you can create or join people's community groups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a load of different ones for AJ, right? Like, tell me about it.
I think that there's
There's,
well,
there's obviously
definitely
like a
one
main
one
one.
in
Yeah, there's like a
Upland
main
I'm
one,
in.
right? And
I'm only like the big one.
yeah, and the thing that really makes me angry about this and why I would never use such an app is this gives me flashbacks to the Facebook groups where on the Amino page, like who's in charge of it? Who's the main admins?
I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. Like, that's what I hate about it. Like, I would never be able to join it. You get some random people running this giant community, like, expecting to do it right. And I know that being a community manager has had, I mean, Kate from AJHQ is an excellent example, you know? But anyway, I guess the whole, like, thing I hate about Amino is because it brings me back to, like, the Animal Jam Facebook groups where I used to be part of one, and it was all going excellent, like, really well, but there was that one admin, you know what I mean? That one person that just... You gotta roast. You just, like,
I've
have
only-
to. And it's not just
Never
roasting,
had
it's
good
sort of...
experiences on Amino. I've never
Hmm.
really had a bad experience with a curator or admin or anything.
I just hate
all
the
been,
way,
like,
I
super
just
nice to
absolutely
me.
hate the way it, like, works, like, the whole admin sort of system. I just wouldn't be able to.
I don't really pay attention to it, to be
Because on
honest. I just
Instagram,
kinda
like,
post.
on Instagram, I'm kind of, I guess, my own boss of my account. Like, no one can tell me, oh, don't swear on your posts. And when kids do that, I just roast them. Like, I've had so many messages recently on my videos, especially on the Apari one that kind of sort of blew up. Like, oh, what are you doing showing cussing, and why are you cussing yourself? Like, it's my YouTube page. I can do whatever I want. And that's kind of, like,
Yeah.
sort of why I would, like, hate about another community, like, driven page. Like, I wouldn't be able to, I guess.
Mhm.
Right, so we kind of briefly talked about this, the Jambassadors.
Yeah.
Are there any you like, and are there any you dislike, and are there any that you actually know?
I
The new
love
ones,
to
the new
say
ones, I
that-
mean. Yeah, the OG ones are still here, but...
Oh, the new ones.
Yeah.
I don't even like know half of them.
I literally... If you told
I
me
didn't
to list
know
them, like,
half
right
of
now,
them
I
even
can't...
existed
Yeah, I
until
can't...
they became Jambassadors.
I can't even say most of the names. Oh, but you know what a
I can't
Jambassador
even
is,
name
right?
like two.
I was literally about to say, what is a
Right,
jam
basically, it's sort of like, you know the AJHQ staff, like the Animal Jam staff?
bastard? Yeah.
We sort of just find these people that are all like fake and community friendly and like never swear and stuff, and that basically gained a large following and that are like super clean. And they invite them onto this like Jambassador program where basically they become part of like the AJHQ team, sort of. Like they get invited to VidCon and things like that for absolutely free. Like they get paid visits to things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of like being a part of a team, I guess,
Oh.
if you know what I mean. But yeah, is there any that you... So is there none that you like to talk about that you like know or have heard about?
There's Love with Songs. I used
I've heard
to
about
talk to
her.
quite a bit.
I
So
heard the name,
I
but I
definitely
don't know much.
Who else is a Jambassador? Oh
I
my
saw
God.
this like one. I just thought it was kind of cute, and it just really, because one time I'm like, I've got two sides to this. Basically, there's this Animal Jam. He's not even an Animal Jam person. You know, Play Wild, the mobile app, right? Everyone knows Play Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
he's an Animal Jam Play Wild YouTuber with around 600. No, I think is like 1 point something K subscribers. I'm really not sure. It's really wild. And like in their program, they specifically mention you have to have over like 5K followers or like 10K followers or subscribers or whatever. And there's just this guy that he doesn't even do Animal Jam videos. It's just Animal Jam Play Wild, and it's kind of cute. He's just sat there on this little mobile device doing Animal Jam videos, and I'm like, oh, that's cute. But then on the other hand, I'm like, they're really desperate. I mean, how many of the Jambassadors have quit by now that used to be on the old banner? Like most of them, right?
Apari,
Slushy,
Animal Jam
Lilac,
Zero.
Wootmoo. All of these people that I like remember on the banner that I just saw the animals on the banner and they disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it really feels like, and especially if they picked such a large amount of people, it really feels like they're really scrounging for people, like there's no people to lead this community.
Yeah, I definitely think that they chose too many.
Yep.
Like they chose like.
Well, if you
15
guys want
more, and
if you
oh
guys
my
want a great
goodness.
leader, not necessarily a Jambassador, because I would never be part of a Jambassador program, but you know, be sure to like, subscribe, and become part of a Patchy Pack, and you know, we're gonna eventually run Animal Jam. That's actually the last question of like this Jambassador part that I wanted to ask you, Knight.
Oh, okay.
This might end our friendship.
What?
Nothing. Would you ever become a Jambassador if you got asked to?
Yeah, honestly.
Mm.
Okay, hear me out. Here's why.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I think you'll be an excellent one. You'll be a really great one, but it's just... I don't know,
Okay.
I have a grudge against the
Here's
people, maybe
why.
that's why.
Because if I were a Jambassador, what
Mhm.
I would mostly want to do is be like an Animal Jam therapist in a way,
Hmm.
and inform people of mental health and why it's important.
Yeah,
and
that would
if,
be great.
Like, people in the Animal Jam community didn't feel comfortable.
I can
with going
imagine,
to
I can imagine
they
you
could
like one
personally,
day
they
on
could
one
come
of
to
those...
me, and I could try to like tell them places that they could get help for free,
Hmm.
or places that they could look into in their area, things like that. I want to help people.
Yeah, I can imagine you on one of those like, God, what would you call this? Sort of like a little Animal Jam cinematic sort of thing on the Animal Jam channel, just like, sort of promoted health awareness and stuff like that. I think that'll be really good. It'll really help people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially people like, Rosie Star. But anyway, once we're past that point, I guess this is like the last couple of questions that I'm going to get into.
Alright.
Because we're sort of closing in now. It's been a really good run so far, by the way. It's been going really well. This is where we get into like the real tea, like the end bit. Like, this is their TeaSpill. This is where it all gets spilled. This is where I smash the cup on the table if I had one. The main AJHQ community manager, Kate.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think she's doing her job correctly?
I don't know how to answer that.
Well, because it's like different across all communities, I guess, right? So it's sort of a confusing question, like, how do you run this community? How do you run that? But do you think, like, what do you think in general? You don't have to answer it directly.
I may be a little biased because I've met her quite a few times, and she's personally been really nice to me, so
yeah.
I think that there are some things that she could improve on or learn how to do differently, but I think that she's definitely trying, and she's done some good things for this community. There are some things that she hasn't done well. It's really a balanced thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting seeing people's motives as well, which is what I will eventually get into in a video that will come out from me, but yeah, that's a good way to answer it. Anyway, the next one. If you were to remove or change people in power, who would you remove or who would you exchange? So this is basically like ambassadors or like just people you know that work for AJHQ.
I don't know. That's
Or would
really
you,
difficult.
Or would you add any people on, like, for example, the ambassador program?
Oh, I'd obviously add myself. Just kidding. I don't know. Honestly, like, I would add you, but you would like automatically decline.
Yeah, I'll be like, no thanks. I mean, I could take a title of like something like Jambassador President maybe, and just like kind of work alone. You know, ban people's accounts. Basically, do what Kate does. Sit there with a giant red button that says ban on it, and you know, just press it all day. I guess I could do that.
If you were in charge of banning people, there'd be no one left in this community.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, I guess the second part is, would you adjust or change any rules? Like, do you think the way the current, like, Animal Jam rules are, would you change anything? I mean, most of the people don't really read the rules fully. I had to, for a case that I was trying to do. But is there any that you would change or adjust?
I think that the chat system is way too strict.
Definitely.
Anytime.
Right, I feel like this once again, Kate, I know I'm onto you, Kate. I know what you're trying to do here. I can just go on a different account, okay? Kate's trying to suppress my chat whenever I go to film a video now.
Oh my
Record an AJ. I literally can't type like hi sometimes. It's so ridiculous.
I mean,
it's just obscene. But yeah, it's just really bad.
I wish it was a little looser. Like,
yeah.
Like, not necessarily, like, allow these, like, 9-year-olds to be swearing and stuff,
Yeah.
but, like, just looser, you know? Like,
one of my favorite all-time pictures. One of my.
I can't even say furry or fursuit anymore.
Because furry's a dirty word. Animal Jam's trying to clench you.
Wow, thanks.
Just kidding. But anyway, I remember one of my favorite Animal Jam pictures that I ever took. Like, I remember I got a lot of like attraction for that on Instagram. It's kind of like my AJ.
I know exactly what photo you're talking.
Do you know? Oh right,
about.
right. Basically, it's Animal Jam. Just my Animal Jam wolf sat there with his main outfit, you know, and my snazzy Dan just sat there. I edited on some MLG glasses and a bit of a doobie smoking on it, you know, and it was at a time where, let's just say, the Animal Jam chat system wasn't feeling very good. Let's just say it's like Thanos snapped on it. But anyway, you could type in the words. I think it was a load of different like phrases and a load of different words were unbanned. Maybe it was a special way.
You could say kill.
Yeah, I just typed in the words "I have a big dick" and it actually appeared on the screen, and it looked really unedited, and it wasn't edited. So I took a screenshot and I posted that, and I remember I think that's one of my most liked posts. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. How it's so strict, yet they still manage to mess it up sometimes.
Like, you can't, like, even say, like, gay or bisexual or transgender.
Yeah,
and
that's
I feel
really
like
bad.
That's really stupid that you can't say those things.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's like a mainstream thing now.
You can't,
it's okay.
or even simpler,
Like,
or even like simpler. You just can't say the word love. You can't say it.
Like,
And
I
there's,
want to
bear
tell
in
my
mind, there's
friends
heart
I love
emojis.
them.
There's heart emojis on Animal Jam.
I know.
It's
Like,
so
I want
ridiculous.
to tell my friends that I love them. Like,
Yeah.
come on. like, like, I tell you I love you, but then you get creeped out. So.
Yeah, but that's just me. Anyway,
You know you love me, you loser.
right. There's also that thing where I remember when they added this. This was so funny. I'm kind of going off track, but it's still AJ related, so you know, the two people viewing still enjoy it. There was this thing, Albert. I'm pretty sure when we played Animal Jam, when you had your PC, we did this.
Oh God.
Basically, before when you tried to, you know, let's just say roleplay the intercourse on Animal Jam.
Oh, God.
When one of the animals would lay down and the other one would basically jump up and down, they implemented this interesting feature where basically if one of the jammers jumps on the other when he's laying down, the other one stands up. Like the other animal just straight up just stands up. Just
It's
stands
called
back.
consent, Patch.
Oh, consent, come on, animals don't need that.
Yes, they do.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Should animals consent? Right, but anyway, I guess this is like the end bit. This is about you. Where do you see your content heading in the future? Have you got any plans? Any major things that you want to start on or continue with? Or just expand on in general?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I definitely plan to make lots more videos.
Yeah, you need to. Please do it.
I know.
When was your last upload? I mean, I can't really exactly talk. I haven't uploaded in around a week, but you know.
Well, I haven't uploaded in like 4 weeks. So.
Yeah, a month is bad. You need
I'm
to start more.
because
Because your videos...
a really big video,
Yeah.
okay? And I did lots of research for it, so...
Yeah, your videos are genuinely, like, really good, and I can tell you put a lot of effort into these.
Thank you so much. And I actually had to do, like, a lot more drawings for this new video, so whatever.
Yeah, for those of you guys, well, you're all going to check her videos out anyway, right? Everyone here. You better check her videos. Nightfury is going to be in the bio. But anyway, basically, Night, what you do, like, for your videos, I really like this, style, I guess you would call it. You do these, like, frames. You basically draw your character out in a bunch of different poses. And you kind of adjust the pose of the character according to what you're talking about on screen, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's a name for this, I'm sure. I just over-explained it. Please tell everyone.
I don't even know what it's called.
It's just
I
like
call it
animation.
animatic,
Yeah. But yeah, I can tell you like put a lot of effort into that, and it really looks good on screen. Like it really
Thank
guides you
you.
through the video, and it's really nice.
I try.
But right, yeah.
Like, there's one project that I am gonna be working on, and it's gonna be really cool.
Sneak peeks.
I am going
Exclusive
to be making
looks?
a Greeley fursuit, which is gonna be so exciting.
Oof, damn, that's gonna be good. Ooh,
I know, I'm so excited about that.
That's gonna be really good.
So yeah, that's kind of just like the big projects,
Yeah.
videos, fursuit, whatever, more art.
Yeah, well, I'm sure everyone will, you know, check out your posts on Insta and your videos as well, because it really seems like you know what you're doing and you're heading in the right direction. Like, I'm really happy that you recently, you know, got 6K. You really do deserve it. Like, you're one of the people in that community that actually, like, you know, is good.
Aw, thank you.
But yeah, guys, I just thought, oh god, I'm gonna edit this out. I don't know what I'm talking about. How do I end this?
Just be like, thanks for watching.
Right, 1 second.
Thanks, Night, for joining me.
Yeah. Right, I've got it. Right, so anyway, thanks everyone that decided to come along. I think we're approaching the end here. I mean, it's been going on for quite a while now. I think we've gone through a lot of good stuff, like a lot of good questions and conversations. So yeah, Night, is there anything else you want to end this on? Apart from telling people your social medias. I mean, I'll have them listed in links in bio.
Your mental health is important, kids. Pay attention to it.
You guys listen. Don't argue on AJ. If you want tea, just look on the PatchTheAlpha channel. Just don't argue.
Yeah, guys,
but anyway.
He's like central.
This has been overall an amazing podcast. It's our first episode as well. I'm really happy that you were our first guest. It really worked out, honestly, better than I was imagining it. Like, I
Thank
thought...
you so much for hosting me.
No, it's good. It's been really fun in general, and we should have you on again some other time. But for now, we're looking into having more guests. So if you guys can request any people that you would like to see on, I could try Instagram messaging them if they haven't blocked me. Even if they have blocked me, I'll message them on a backup account. Because honestly, I can even have people that I haven't been getting on with. I think it'll make for some interesting conversations. But yeah, in general, I'm just looking into making this a weekly thing, I guess. Possibly. Albert, it depends how often I can get a hold of you. Big shout out to Albert as well, guys. I'll have whether he wants to list in the link as well, if you do want to list anything. It's been really fun having a co-host. But yeah, I'm just going to end it on this note, and I should probably mention the giveaway now as well, right? God damn it, I should have mentioned it halfway through, because now everyone's going to skip to the end for the rares.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, what I'm planning on doing on this podcast is basically one shout out somewhere in the video and one giveaway in the video.
Someone's car is freaking out outside. I hope you can't hear that.
Oh,
it
jeez.
stopped.
Okay, but anyway, so the giveaway for today's video is going to be I don't have much, guys, since my main account got permabanned, but I've got a short rare spiked collar, red in color. So yeah, if you guys want to enter that, just first of all, leave your opinion, what you thought about the podcast in general. 2, leave who you'd like to see on, and 3, just leave your animaljam username. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up somehow, once I eventually think of an outro. But yeah, once again, just a big thanks to both of you for being on. And it really worked out great.
Much.
Right, I should probably work on an outro, but for now, just thanks for watching if you did, guys. And yeah, watch out for more videos. Hopefully they're not cringy. See ya.
Let's hope.